Hey guys, I see there's people here. If you have like a specific image, let me know and I'll edit to the references. See, I don't like this one because we can only see the bottom. I want one from the top to get the canopy shape right. So let's search for another one. Hmm. Yeah, that seems like a nice one. Let's download it. Let's see the resolution on this one. I like that it has some colors. I think that's enough. Let's get rid of the default cube. Save it. Now let's name our original collection reference and start working on it. So I move to the front view. If any of you know how to enable the keystrokes, let me know and I'll do it. And I'm going to just add an image as background so it would always draw behind our meshes. Let's bring our P-51. I like this one because it's very high resolution and it's very round. I like it. It's very simplified. It's good for low poly modeling. Okay, so we're in front view. So let's press G and move to the center. And I want to really align the tip of the tail with the z-axis. So I'm going to move on the x-axis and I'm going to press shift. And it's going to allow me to really control the movement. So I like it now. It's centered. And I want always to have the bottom of the condenser on the XY plane. So this is good for us. And now, in order for me to never move it, I'm going to go to visibility and deselect selectable. Now we can't ever touch it by accident. I'm going to call it front. Okay, so that's one done. I press 3 on the numpad to go to side view, and I'm going to add another image as background, and it's going to be the same one, P-51. And now I want the side view, so I'm going to move it to the same place. But now I want it to lay down flat, so let's do it. I'm going to select it. I'm going to choose to rotate on the x-axis, and I'm going to move it. And you can see here I have a straight line, so I know that if I'll make this straight line perpendicular to the grid, I'm going to be fine. So let's do that. It needs just slightly more, so I want to rotate on the x-axis, and I think that's probably good enough. Well, is it? Maybe take this line here and make this one perpendicular. So rotate on the x-axis. Yeah, let's look from far away. Seems fine. So let's move. We want the condenser on the XY plane and want the tip of the nose touching the z-axis. Now we can do a sanity check for ourselves. Okay, so you can see that the top of the canopy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. That's the height of the top of the canopy. So now let's go to front view and see that it's the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. That's good enough. It means the scales are at least, let's say, good enough. Okay, we don't need to be perfect. We're doing a low poly model. If I would do something high res, I might take some more time to make the everything perfect. But that's good enough for now. So we'll name it side. And again, we're going to deselect selectable. And now you can see I can't interact with it. I'm not going to move it by accident while working. That's very good for us. I'm going to click 7 on the numpad to go to top view, and I'm going to add the final reference again, P-51 blueprint, and it is oriented wrong, so I'm going to rotate it along the z-axis. So rotate z, and I'm going to press Control. It's going to do it in multiples of 15, and I'm going to rotate 90. And now I want the tip of the nose to be on the x-plane, and I want it to be centered. So let's start with the nose. And now I can go to the tail and really try to fit the line. And you know what? It seems, I would say, pretty much okay. It goes in the middle. Let's look for some more landmarks. Yeah, looks like in the middle of the canopy. I would say this is good enough for us. So now let's do some more sanity checks. I want the end of the wing to end at the same location. So let's do it. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's 14 and a half. Let's go to front view. Let's do the same thing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And you can see it's here it's slightly bigger. So what that means, if we are going to create the wing, when we look at top view and then we're going to look at front view, it's going to be a little bit shorter. So I think if this is going to be our biggest problem with this, model, we're going to be a-okay. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to again make it unselectable. I'm going to call the last one top, and we can now look at our job. I press 1, I press 3, I can see the plane, and I press 7, and it looks great. Okay, fine. So I'm going to create a new collection. I'm going to call it P-51, and I like to start with the body. So the body is the biggest part. The body gives us, the look. When you look at most of the planes I modeled, after I finished the body, you could more or less tell which plane I was working on. So we'll do the same thing here. So let's add, I like to work with cylinders. So let's add a cylinder. I found that most of the times 8 vertices is enough. So let's do that. And I'm going to rotate 90 degrees on the x-axis. And when you're working with octagons, each of those angles is, or maybe you need to rotate 22.5 degrees on the y-axis to get it to be straight. So let's do it. Rotate on the y 22.5 degrees, and you can see it's perfectly straight. I'm going to switch to wireframe mode, and I'm going to, let's look at the model just for a second. So how we're going to do the octagon. So you can see that here we are slightly narrower than in the bottom. So this is one thing we're going to need to replicate. And I think I'm going to put 2 vertices here, 2 vertices here, one wide here, and the other 2 here. So let's just do it. Enough talk. And deselect everything. I'm going to select the top part. I'm going to move only on the z-axis to where I want them to be. I'm going to maybe move everything just for now, or maybe even scale everything. And now move on the z-axis and put it somewhere here. Seems nice. Select the top 2, move on the z-axis, and I think this is for now good enough scale. Choose the next 2, move on the z, scale it on the x a little bit just to be slightly wider. Grab the bottom 4, move on the sorry, on the z-axis to the bottom. Maybe scale them out just a little bit, but we might change it because I'm not sold that it would be good. Move up or down. Here seems nice, and scale it outwards. Okay, so from front view this seems fine for now. We'll see, maybe in the future we'll change it. Let's move to side view, and you can see it's completely at the wrong location, so I'm going to move on the y-axis, and I'm searching for the center of the plane, and I'm going to test something. I might want to just lower this slightly down. Let's see. Maybe let's see if it's in the same scale, meaning if I just take this now and move it on the Z, and I'm going to see, you see it's perfect size wise. So just to avoid this moving back and forth, I'm going to cancel the movement. I'm going to go to our side view, and I'm going to no, just for a second, I'm going to move from object mode, select the side view, allow it to be selectable again. Okay, and now I'm going to move it and align it with the mesh I have right now. So move it on the z-axis very slightly to down, and leave it here and mark it as unselectable. So that's it. Hide the reference, select our object, go to object mode, And now I'm going to start to extrude this very basic shape to fit the shape of the P-51. So let's do it once. And you can see that here we start to move up. So this is why I stopped here. I'm going to do it again. And you can see that here we start to move down. And now I can move on the Z axis. Select everything again, extrude to the top to maybe just a second. Hi, sorry about that. I have two beautiful daughters, and right now it's like pretty late um, where I live, and one of them decided to try and wake up. So I had to handle this, and we can now continue. So I'm going to take this two. By the way, can you hear me properly? Let me know if I'm talking too weakly. I can maybe use the software to enhance it because I wouldn't dare speak too loudly at this hour. So let's move it down to fit the curve and both of this up again to get the same effect. And here I have a very I'll call it very hard elevation. So maybe let's see how we do it. I'm going to try to extrude, and now if I take this two up, see, I don't like this kind of topology. I don't like that everything here is very narrow and the same here, but everything here in the middle is so wide. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to edge select here and here. I'm going to go back to side view. I'm going to double press G. So G is move, but double press G is slide. And I'm going to slide it slightly up. And I'm going to try to, so you see here it's good enough. I'm going to take this down. Here is good, but here okay. So again, so here it seems fine, but here this is not good enough, so I'm going to choose this edge, and I chose both of them because I'm in wireframe mode. I'm going to slide it slightly to the down. That's it, and I think this topology seems fine. I just need to fix the top part. So I'm going to edge select here, just Alt left click and Alt Shift left click to edge select and keep the previous selection. Going to side view again. I'm going to double press G to slide it down, and I'm going to fix again this part here. And this seems fine. Let's go to solid view and just look at what we have so far. So it still doesn't look good. You can see that from top view. If I go to wireframe mode, you can see it's too wide here. It's too blocky, but in a second we are going to fix this. So the last part is this propeller. So let's do it. Let's choose this one. And I don't know if it's round enough, but we can fix it in just a second. I'm going to go to mesh here, and I'm going to go to transform and to sphere. And when I do it, you can see I can make it rounder. Now I just need to scale it down a little bit and move it on the z-axis to fit the drawing. Now I can do this, scale it, and again scale it one more time, and last part is to make it round and not too weird. So now let's go to solid view, and yeah, I guess it looks somewhat like a P-51 plane. Great, so let's continue. I'm going to go to top view, I'm going to go to wireframe mode, and I'm going to start fit everything else to this model. So let's see here, maybe scale it on the X a little bit. Same here. Here I think it's perfect. Here we need to start scaling down. And again on the last part. Yeah, that looks better already. Let's go to side view, see that we didn't mess anything up. Yeah, seems okay. Okay, so now what I don't like is that maybe here you can see it doesn't fit as well to how the P-51 looks. So what I think I'm going to do is I might end up re-raising these two parts here, these two edges. But what I can also do is when I create the canopy, I can make it start lower, from here, and then give this effect. So let's try the intermediate thing. Let's do both. So I'm going to first, I don't want to do it to the propeller, so I'm going to select this edge by pressing C, and now I can circle select, and I'm going to select all these edges, and let's look that I didn't choose anything I don't really want. Yeah, let's do it again. That's great. Let's go to front view, and let's raise it up a little bit. So let's do GZ. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to go to solid view, and that's interesting. I don't know if I like it more or less. I don't like for sure that this squariness above the propeller. I can now go to PureRef. I created some references, and I'm going to try and find something that looks at this area from the front. I don't have any, so let's go to Chrome again. And let's look for P-51 Mustang from the front. So definitely, let's say definitely not as round, but there is this. It's slightly above. Okay, yeah. So It's fine. So I'll try to maybe take this edge. So let's look at on the model. You see this edge. I'll try to maybe make it slightly less harsh somehow. And I think we can achieve this. Let's try something. I am by no means a Blender expert, so I'm going to try something. If any of you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm going to add another edge loop here. And I'm going to take these two edges. And I'll try to, maybe in front view, scale them on the x-axis and then move them slightly up. Just to break this boxiness. Let's see how it looks. So you see that the topology here is horrible. Horrible. Yeah, so I don't like it. Let's try something else. I like this shape, so I don't want to break it. I like it. It's round. It looks like the propeller. So let's see if I can maybe just choose this too. And I'm going to scale them on the X and move them down. Let's see now. Okay. So let's say I don't hate it, which is, I guess, an improvement. Let's look at it from the top. So you see these are now, should probably go outside. And did I just undo what I did before? No? Okay. I think that's good enough. Let's continue. It's supposed to be low poly, so we don't need to really go into that details. If we'll see that this front ruins the, our perception of this model as being P-51 Mustang, we might go back to it and try to fix it. So back to side view. I'm going to go to wireframe mode again, select the last edge, and I'm going to add the condenser as a separate object. So I'm just going to ignore it and imagine that the plane goes like this, pretty much the same as here. So let's extrude, and I want this part to be higher, and extrude. Only on the y-axis, and now I'll scale on the z-axis and raise it slightly up. Okay, seems fine. So from here we get the tail. So what I'm going to do is extrude again. Okay, yeah, that was weird. So let's do it again. I didn't select the top two, so I need to select them again and extrude again and scale it on the z-axis. Great, and again scale Z, and I'm going to move the Z up, and yeah, seems fine. Maybe I slightly dislike the fact that you can see it's concave here. I want it to be straight line, so let's go here and raise it slightly up. This is much better, and I think you can see it really have the shape of the reference image. So now let's fix everything from the top view. Go to wireframe again, and here we'll have the wings. Here we need to scale it on the x-axis, and again scale on the x. Great. So we have the body. It's ready. Now all we need to do is add the rest of the things. So let's look at the reference again without our body, and let's rename this cylinder to body. I'm going to hide it, and let's look at the references. So what I still need to add is the wings. On this plane, the condenser, and also I think one of the main characteristics of this plane is the exhaust pipes going out from the front of the plane. So let's look at some references. You can see it's very apparent. I think it's something very important for this model. So we'll also try to add those. So we need the wings, the exhaust pipes, the bottom part of the tail, and the top part of the tail. So, and of course the canopy. So I'm going to start with the canopy because I find it easy. I'm going to look at the reference. I have two ways I like doing it. I either take an icosphere and I use proportional editing to stretch it to look like the canopy. But here it seems to me like the front is straight, so the icosphere might not work here. Let's look for some more images. So the back, the icosphere could actually work, but the front, I don't see it happening. So let's do it with a cylinder again. And actually, let's look for a reference for the canopy. I don't like the images I have. So is this a good one? Sure. Okay, great. Let's do it. So I'm going to make sure that I have the correct collection selected. I'm going to Shift A to add a new. Wait, I think I might be in object mode. Let's look. Yeah. So let's hide it again. And now when I add a mesh cylinder, let's leave it with 8 vertices to give us some room to work with. I'm going to rotate X 90 and I'm going to rotate Y 22.5 degrees. And now we have the octagon laying down. I'm going to go to front view. I'm going to move to wireframe. I'm going to scale it. I'm going to move it to an appropriate location. And yeah, I think 8 vertices was a correct choice. Let's go to object mode, select these two, move them. No, I'm not going to move them. I think it ended up looking pretty good right now. I'm going to take these two and scale on the X. And I'm going to take these two and also scale on the X. And I'm going to try and fit them. Let's look at the body again. So you see now we slightly, let's go to side view. Let's select everything, move on the Y and put it on the general location. And now when I move to solid view, you can see how they connect. So I would like to maybe slightly go to the bottom. I want to really merge with this. So I'll go to wireframe mode again. I'm going to select the last four. I'm going to go to solid view again. And I'm going to scale X. And I'll try just before they appear outside. And I'm going to check that here they are still inside. Wireframe mode again, select these four, solid view again, and I'll scale it on the X again just to have it connect appropriately. Yeah, this looks okay. You can see here that I might scale on the X the bottom four again, and yeah, they definitely I'm going to do it. I'm going to circle select those two and scale on the X until they disappear. And yeah, looks fine. Now just we need to have the entire shape be correct. So let's hide the body. Go to object mode, wireframe, side view, We know that from the front it looks fine. We know that it works well with the body. So now all we need to do is make it look fine from the top and from the side. So let's start. Extrude, scale Z, move Z, scale Z out a little bit, extrude Z, and I'm going to do this so I can add color just here when we start um, applying some texture to the model. And I'm going to scale Z again, move Z again, extrude, scale Z, move Z, scale Z out. This looks fine. Go and finish the back, scale Z, move Z, and I'm trying to create at least somewhat of a straight line at the button, and now I can see that this doesn't really do justice to this beautiful curve that the engineers did to the P-51. So let's move it on the y-axis, and I want to add some more of this curve. So I'm going to move Z, scale Z, move it down a little bit. Okay, and now again scale Z, move Z. It's good enough, and let's add another loop here and scale it onto Z. Move it up. I quite like it. Now I just want to make sure that we can really, so you see here we still have some distance between the canopy and the body itself, so I'm going to extrude again. And this one I'm just going to simply scale on all axes, and I just want to make sure it follows the curve and is finishing inside the body. So now let's go to the solid view, and you can see here that everything here is outside. So we made sure only one of our loops is okay, but the rest are now all messed up. So let's go to top view, hide the body again, go to wireframe, and now make sure that everything is appropriate size. So let's scale X, and I think what I'll end up doing is add another edge loop here, and now I can scale it like this. Okay, I'm going to select this edge loop, but I'll select and scale X, scale X, great. Again, Alt, left click, scale X, Alt left click, scale X, Alt left click, scale X. And I'm going to stop saying it because you're probably tired of hearing me saying it. I can practically hear you cursing me. And again, scale X, just the final one. Okay, solid view. Let's look at it. Okay, you can see I like this. I'm just going to ignore for a second the first part because it's horrible and disgusting, but I like this part. Looks fine. I love it. Here, very bad. I don't know why. Let's look at it. Maybe I think it might be the fact that it doesn't the bottom part doesn't also become smaller. I think it's that. Let's look at the reference for a second. Maybe let's see if we have something from yeah, that might be interesting to look at. So you see I like this part. Yeah, I think the back part we have it working pretty well. This part it's almost straight down, and I can say that I can see in this image that it becomes narrower. Oh my god, it's a hard word. Narrower. Kasumi, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, it doesn't increase scale. I think I'm at my current level, I'm so bad at drawing that it would just create a bad model. So um, I'm pursuing finishing the game. So I think the modeling aspect, I take any improvement I can get from any type of work I do. Just messing with the software, doing anything, just getting a general feel of everything, and I'll take it for now. And hopefully, when I have more time to work on, to hammer down on my modeling skills, I can do something more artistic. But I'm pretty sure you're right. It sounds right. Okay, so do I want to make it narrower at the bottom? Let's see. Let's try. Let's see what happens. So let's select those two and those two. Let's scale X. Okay. Now just this one and this one. And now this one and this one. Okay, do I like it? Do we like it? Do we like it, guys? I think for sure better than before. I don't know. I think I'll roll with it. Let me know what you think, guys. If you think it looks fine, let me know. So let's look at the body and just make sure that everything's makes sense. Let's look from the blueprint. So you can see it looks as if we want it to be wider, generally speaking. Let's try it. Let's try scaling. So which parts? Let's see. So I think everything. Let's select everything. Let's scale it on the X slightly. Yeah, and now just the bottom parts. So we're going to Alt left click to select this edge and Shift Alt click to select this one and also these two parts here. And now C middle mouse button to deselect everything I selected by mistake. Let's see that we don't have any edge selected that we don't want. And now scale X inwards. And now let's go to front view again. It seems to be better. Yeah, I think it's good enough for now. Yeah, totally. Okay, so we have the body, we have the canopy. Now we need the wings and the wings, inside everything. The exhaust pipes, the bottom part of the tail, the top part of the tail, and the condenser. Okay, so let's do the wings. So I'm going to go to top view. I'm going to add a cube. I'm going to go to object mode and I'm going to add an edge loop in the center and press right click to keep it in the center. I'm going to go to wireframe mode and select the left part and press X and delete the vertices. Go to this mode, object mode. Wait, so what is this one? Edit mode. So now we're at object mode and we are going to add a modifier and it's going to be the mirror modifier. And now we can create only one wing and get the exact same wing to the side. What am I going to do about promotion? I think right now I don't value my content very highly. So I think I create mediocre uh, videos. So I'm actually wanting to keep it pretty small, the channel, and get guys like you to help me improve by just watching my things and giving me feedback. And afterwards, I like to create. I think the best doing videos I had, subscriber or interaction wise, were things that were visually beautiful. I think people making games like visually beautiful things. So I like to create some nice demonstration of some part of, let's say, the Godot game engine that I'm using, and creating a tutorial with where you create something that looks nice and you upload it to any place where people using Godot are lurking, such as the main Reddit channel or game dev channel. And if it looks good enough, people click it, and if the videos itself is good enough, then they'll probably subscribe and watch some more videos. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the main promotion right now. Keeping it on the. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to now move the cube, and I'm going to enable clipping because I don't want the cube to separate. So I'm going to move on the y-axis, and I'm going to pretty much center it. I'm going to go to edit mode and select those two vertices and move them to where they're. I imagine I've been doing it for almost 2 weeks now, so I have this method. You see here, to make it look like it connects to the body, you need to imagine this line continuing inwards, and this is the general area where we want this vertex to be. So let's move it there. And again, do the same here, move everything generally to upward. And let's imagine this line going here, and now we can take this right part, move it on the x-axis to the edge of the wing, and now scale it on the y-axis. Oh, move it on the y, on the x, and scale on the y. Yeah. Now let's move it again and scale it. Okay, so now we need to fix this. This is way too wide, so I'm going to add another edge loop, and I'm going to put it where I want it. Select those two vertices and move them to the appropriate location, and do it again here. Okay, so now what I like to do is take everything here and scale it on the Y. And the reason is, I'm going to show it in just a second. So I want it to be slightly smaller than the wing itself, and I like to add another edge loop in the center and move it slightly to the front. That's it. I'll take this middle one, I'm going to move it to recreate this front, this straight line. I wanted to keep it topology wise. And now I have, you can see, a very big wing. So I'm going to go to front view. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to scale on the Z. And I'm going to take this part, and you can see this is, generally speaking, a square, so I can just move it up and scale it to the size I want. And I can do the same here. And I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but we know already that we don't have an exact same scale here. So we might get some weird results when we move between where we can see the references images. So I'm not going to, if you see a difference, just know that's the reason. So let's scale on the Z again and move up. And we have the general look of the wing. It seems like here we want it to be a little bit more straight, so I'm going to add another edge loop, and I'm going to just take the top vertex and move it down. Okay, so we have this. I'm going to handle the edge and everything else in just a second. So we want to create the shape of a wing, so I'm going to again take everything here and I'm going to scale Z slightly. And I'm going to fix everything to be in the center, and I'm going to show you why I'm making it slightly smaller than the actual wing in just a second. We want to create the look of a wing, and the wing have this teardrop shape, so we're going to create it right now. So now what I can do is, let's look to the side, and I'm going to select this. Let's go to, I press 2, and then I can select edges, and I select these two edges and these two edges, and I go to front view, and now I'm going to make the wing wider and more resembling of a wing. So let's scale on the z-axis. Sorry, I'm going to move to individual origins, so scale Z. No. Okay, so let's do it one by one. So I'm going to move on the Z up, and now we have the exact size of the wing. I'm going to do it again for the bottom part. I'm going to move it down, and now we get the exact size of the wing. And I made also the wing smaller from the top, and what I can do here is again add another edge loop here and keep it in the center. Select just these two edges, go to top view, and now when I move on the y-axis I get the correct place, and I'm going to fix the edge right here, and I can go to the back, select these two, and do the same. Now when I go to solid view, you can see we get the shape of a wing. Okay, and you can look from the side, we have this teardrop wing shape. And if we look at the connection between the wing and the body itself, and we go to our reference, you can see that we get this at least pretty similar effect to how it looks in the real world. Okay, so let's go to let's for a second go to object mode just to see how everything flows. Let's look at the flow of the model. I think it's at least okay. Let's say at least okay, which is, I'll take at least okay for now. And we need to still take care of the edge of the wing. So let's go to select the wing, go to edit mode, wireframe, top view, select the edge, extrude it, and I can scale it, move on the Y, move slightly on the X, and I can do scale, Z, 0, enter. I get the edge, and now I have a lot of duplicates. So I press M, and I'm going to merge by distance, and you can see I have 4 vertices removed, which is the doubles that we had here. And we have the wing. Let's go to solid view and object mode, and I think we have, at least we can start to see how our plane is going to look. And I think with my current skill level, the fact that I don't hate it is good enough for me. So let's continue. And I think I feel like I want to work on the top part of the tail right now. So let's do it. I'm going to hide the canopy. I'm going to rename this cube to be the wings so we can have everything properly labeled. And I'm going to hide everything here. And I'm going to make sure I'm in object mode, and I'm going to add a cube. I'm going to scale it and move it to where my tail is. And just for a second, let's look at the body again. So we let's move the cube to the correct location here. So now I don't want this edge to ever move. This edge marks where the body stops and the tail begins. So I really want this edge to stay at the correct location. So let's try and remember it. I end up always moving this important part. Okay, so hide the body. Go to edit mode, wireframe, select this part. So I can lower those two slightly. Extrude here. Scale on the Z. Or maybe I can just move this one. Yeah, that's good enough. Add another edge loop here, move it to the appropriate location, and move the top part slightly down, and we get this nice curve. Extrude here. Maybe too much. Move this part. And now I can select all these, extrude. Do I like it? I may say I'm pretty sure I don't really like it. Let's try doing something differently. So let's move this here, this here. Yeah. Add another edge loop here. It's gonna be a close one to this one, but we'll need to make it work. I'm not going to add, at least for now, another one here because I don't want it to be too complex. It's just the tail. We don't need it to be that complex. Okay, extrude this one. And I can lower this and elevate this. Okay, let's go to solid view. Let's add the body back, and obviously it doesn't look good right now. So let's hide it again, go to wireframe again, and we want the top to be narrower. So let's start by making everything more narrow. This looks right. And now let's look from the side which parts needs to be narrower. So I'm going to take everything here. I'm going to move it on the y-axis slightly because I'm going to do the same trick from before. That leads me to believe that maybe I can take this edge loop and I'm going to dissolve the vertices because I don't really need them. So let's move everything here. Yeah. And here I don't really need, I can just select those and do scale x0 and merge by distance, and now we removed the duplicates, and I think for the back part this looks fine. I can select those two and scale them on the X slightly, not too much, just to have the shape of a wing, and this again looks fine. Oh, is there something weird going on with the topology here? Yes, there is. Let's see where it starts. Oh, I can see what happened. So what we want is take this, and I'm going to fill them, and I'm going to do the same here, and probably in the bottom again. That's what happens when you dissolve vertices. And now you can see that there's this artifact that probably means that there's something weird going on here. So let's go to face view. Yeah, there is a face here, and there's another one here. Interesting. Okay, so let's see which faces do we have here. So this entire thing is a face. So let's go to a point before I dissolved the vertex here, and now let's do it again. But this time, let's look what happens. Okay, so I'll just delete them, and now I can circle select and fill only how I want this to be filled. And by the way, I'm filling the face by pressing F. Okay, so now after this tangent, we can continue doing the same thing. So I'm going to move everything here. I'm pretty sure now I need to do this again. So scale x0, merge by distance, circle select those two, scale on the x to make it look like a wing. Go here, add an edge loop in the center. Go to edge select, select those edges, go to side view, and move on the y-axis just to recreate this shape. Now go to edge select and move everything to create this effect of a wing. Solid view, let's add the body again. Now let's look how it looks. You can see here that it doesn't connect perfectly. So what I'm going to do here, and again I don't like this top, so I'll go to edge select, select this one and move it up, and select this edge and move it down, or here. Yeah. So what I want to do here is I want to scale the back part of the body to the inside of the wing. So let's select the body, go to edit mode, edge select the end, and just make sure everything is selected. Scale it on all axes just to make this part go inside, and I'll only scale on the X. And now go to edit mode, add the canopy, add the wings. Now let's look at everything, especially on the tail. You can see here it's not perfect, but for a low poly model, yeah, so I don't like it. I'll select the body, go to edit mode, select those two parts. I'm going to move them down. I'm going to scale on the X. Not too much. Let's look at it now. So I think it's good. If any of you guys listening, let me know if you have any tips or anything you can think I can do better. I would love to hear it, because I consider myself maybe intermediate and down level Blender user. So I'm pretty sure all of you are more well, better than me in Blender. So okay, so let's look at this model, and let's look. We're going to mainly look at it from behind and from this distance. So I think it's okay. So now let's look at just the reference again. So we have the wings, we have the body, the canopy, the top part of the tail. So we need the bottom part of the tail. We need the condenser from the bottom. And as I said, I want to create this two exhaust pipes or exits. So let's do the side of the tail, because I think it's easier, and I feel like doing something easy right now because it's starting to be late, at least where I live. I don't know where you guys live, but here it's almost 10 p.m. Okay, so let's go to top view, add a cube, call the previous cube tail top, call this one tail bottom, go to object mode, or to edit mode, sorry, add an edge loop, right click to keep it in the same position, go to wireframe, select the left part, delete the vertices, go to object mode, add a mirror modifier, go to top view. Now we're going to scale on all axes and move to where the wing is, and I'm going to right click just for a second, enable clipping, and when I move, I only move on the y-axis because I wanted to keep it centered. Great, so now we go to object mode, to edit mode, sorry. I'm going to take these two parts and I'm going to scale them on the y-axis. I'm going to take these two and move them on the x-axis to the edge of the tail, and then scale them to fit. Again on the y, and move them up a little bit. So we have the general shape, and I'm very happy to see that this shape is easy. So let's extrude. Let's take the top one part, and I feel like I might need another edge loop here, but we'll see in a second. Move it on the y, and yeah, totally need another edge loop, and move it on the y. Add the edge loop that I'm missing. For now, keep it in place. Maybe select it, and I can double press G to slide it, and I want it here, I think. Maybe one square to the left. Now I can take the top part and move it to the appropriate location, and do the same with the bottom part. And I think that's fine. And now we're going to look at the horrendous view, which is this very thick tail. So let's go to front view, select everything, move on the Z to the appropriate location, and now scale everything on the Z. This looks like the correct location, and I'm wondering if the reference is showing the wing like this, because it seems like a very weird shape for a tail to be. So let's look at some images from our references, and I'm pretty sure I selected one for the back, and I can't really say if it really slopes down like this. Well, I don't think it should look like this. I think I'm going to do the thing I do always with wings, and I'm going to keep it for now level. Okay, so let's go back to Blender, and I'm going to do the same trick again. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to scale it on the y-axis to leave some room. I'm going to add another edge loop in the center, and I'm going to move it to the front part of the wing because I want to create the shape of a wing. I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it down. I'm playing with the topology a little bit. I want somewhat of a straight line here. Okay, now what I can do is, again, move here. I can select everything, scale on the z-axis. I wanted to make it slightly smaller than the reference. And I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to scale them again and again and again. Now add an edge loop in the center and we are ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to look at it from the side. I'm going to press 2 to select the edges, select all of these edges. Now when I go to front view, I can move on the Z. You can see that I create a thicker tail, but now is going to have this teardrop shape of a wing. And now we can move everything here down. Oh, sorry, GZ. I kept pressing Y and didn't understand why nothing was happening. Okay, everything here is going to be at the same Z value, so I'm going to leave it for now, even though it doesn't look right. Maybe this I'm going to elevate slightly. Yeah, and I'm going to go again, and I'm going to select the bottom here. And I'm going to do the same. Maybe less pronounced. And I'm going to again try to make this look like a straight line. Okay, that's for now good enough. I'm going to go here to the side, select those edges, top view, G to move on the Y, and we have the shape of a wing, and I'm going to do the same with the back. And now I'm going to, so that's a question. Let's see, let's look at the reference. Is it, yeah, it does seem to really come down to a very narrow thing. So I'm going to circle select everything here, scale on the X 0, scale on the X 0, sorry, scale on the Z, sorry, 0. And now maybe scale Y. No, but first of all, let's merge everything. And I'll scale on the Y just a little bit. And I'll go to solid view, object mode, enable all the rest of the plane. Look at it, and it seems fine. I think if I don't currently have any plans of writing anything here, but if I'll try, it's going to look pretty bad. You can see that there's a lot of different shapes coming here together, so it's going to look weird. Am I planning to make a War Thunder clone in Godot? I don't think so. I think I'm, as the name of my channel suggests, an indie developer, which means I really work alone, maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, because I really like coding games. I like coding in general. As you can see, art is not my strong suit, so I don't think a War Thunder clone is something I am capable of completing. I am, however, trying to create a game where it's going to be something like a defend the castle type of game. You're going to have this base, and enemies are going to spawn in waves, but it's not a continuous. You do play the next day or something, and the enemies spawn, and you finish the wave, and you can upgrade the base, upgrade the plane, do something like this. And it's going to have these types of missions where you choose a place on the world map, and you go there, and you, I don't know, destroy something, destroy the turrets, or I don't know, some sort of attack mission to complement the defense type of gameplay that the previous part have. And this mission give you more resources, employees, or I don't know, some sort of mechanic to improve your plane and your base. And the theme currently is, I don't know, like post-apocalyptic zombie game. Obviously, I'm you know, I'm basic like this, and I think this is the gameplay. So um, not a lot of aerial combat. It's going to be a lot of air to ground. Hope this answers the question. Okay, so what do we still need to do? So we need to do the bottom part, no, this part. Let's look at the references. This, oh, this is a bad one for to show it. This maybe, yeah, this part. We want to edit to our model, and we want to add this exhaust pipes. So let's start with what I know how to do. I don't know, I still doesn't have a plan for the exhaust pipes, but I sure have a plan for this condenser type of things. So let's just count for a second how many vertex do we need our cylinders to have. So we want one here at the top, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So again, an octagon is going to fit our needs here. So let's select our collection, make sure we are in object mode, add a cylinder. It has 8 vertex, so we rotate around the x-axis 90 degrees and rotate around the y 22.5 degrees. Now we have it laying aligned with the main axis. So we can scale, go to wireframe mode just to put it in the correct location, and scale it some more, move it up, and let's go to object mode, select these edges, or maybe let's start with these, move them down. Now let's take these, move them down, take this one, move them up, and let's hide everything. I'll tell you what I think. You see, I'm not sure if this is curving out slightly. Okay, so if it is, we'll need to see how we do it. Let's look at the reference just for a second, and this helps me exactly not at all. Okay, let's just go with it. Let's see what happens. So we want the cylinder here. Let's make it wider, just slightly. I think it should be slightly wider than the top. What? Okay. Okay, now let's move this to the back. Yep, here. Let's take this and move it forward to create this shape. Let's take this, move it down. And now let's take everything here and let's just look at the body for a second. So I think we can get along just with extruding here. Extruding here. What is going on? Oh my god. Okay, thank you. So that now I can scale it on the Z. or maybe here I can scale probably on everything and move it up. That seems okay. Let's add another edge loop here, scale it, move it down. Okay. Now I want to create an edge here. So add, no, mesh. Maybe I'll just use the knife here. So select it, this, and press enter. Great. Now go to faces, select this one, insert. Maybe not yet. Yeah, so let's extrude, scale, extrude, edge select, take these, move them up, and these move to the back. Now let's look from the front, take this, sorry, go to face select, select the front face, and press I to insert, press extrude on the y-axis to put it inside. Now when I go to solid, you can see I have this condenser, and you can also see that the top is all wrong, but that's a pretty easy fix. Let's go to wireframe and go to edge select, select this edge loop, shift alt click, select this edge loop, go back to solid view, and now I'm going to scale along the axis. And that's it. Maybe also this. Scale X. Slightly. Okay. Seems about right. Let's show everything else. Does it look like a P-51? I think so. I think I just want to add now this very iconic exhaust pipes and I'll be done. So how are we going to do it? So let's look at the exhaust pipes first. Let's see how do they look. So it seems to be we need to think whether or not we want this round thing, but the exhaust pipe themselves really look just like cylinders, so I can probably get away with just adding a bunch of cylinders pointing to the back. That's probably going to do the trick, especially when you model. You need to really think of the distance people are going to view your model from. So it's not going to be a prop in some FPS game, so nobody's going to really get close and personal with a model. So I think the solution with the pipes might work. I think in order to get a different color here, because I like this checker flag pattern here, and I'm probably going to end up adding it. So in order to do that, I'll need some other object here so I can mask it. So let's do it. I'm going to add a new collection, and I'm going to call it pipe because I can't spell to save my life. So exhaust, forget about it. I'm not going to even try on stream to properly write exhaust. Okay, so let's add, I think a simple cube is going to do the trick. And I'm going to this time mirror it without doing anything, without adding another edge loop and deleting everything, and you'll see in a second why. So now I added the mirror modifier. I'm going to scale it. I'm going to go to object mode, Let's look from the front, and I can scale it a lot more. Now when I move it, you see I get another cube. So this is exactly what I want. I'm going to move it here. I'm going to go to side view. I'm going to hide everything else. And now I'm going to move it to the appropriate location, to the center. Scale Y. Scale, it's way too big in the x-axis, so scale X. That's probably good enough. Let's show just the body. And now we can see that if we look to top view, let's move it outside. And I can rotate it around the z-axis and fit here. Now let's move it again inside, and we get this place to put our pipes. So let's do it. And another object, let's just go to object mode again, so we wouldn't by accident add anything to this cube. And I'm just going to call it frame, and I'm pretty sure I didn't, yeah, I have still a cylinder here, and it's probably the exhaust pipe, right? Yeah, so let's call it pipe. No, sorry. How does it called? Is it the condenser? I think it's for the turbo, the turboprop engine. So I'll just call it bottom. Hide it again. Now go here. I'm going to add a cylinder. I'm going to scale it. It doesn't need. So let's scale Shift Z to make it narrow. And now scale Z. Yes. And now add a modifier, mirror modifier. And now if I go to front view, let's move. Oh, sorry. In edit mode, let's move, and we get two pipes. Let's rotate Y90. It's a great angle. Let's go to the top. Let's move it. We want it to also point towards the back, so let's rotate on the z-axis like this. Seems fine. Do we want it bigger, or maybe just the top? Oh, sorry, the opposite. I just want this maybe bigger. So let's scale. Yeah, I like it. But also we need to, this needs to be slightly bigger. I'm going to press Ctrl L, just going to give me this pipe. I'm going to move on the Y. I'm going to Shift D to duplicate on the Y. Shift D on the Y. Shift D again, sorry for repeating myself. And I think that's enough. I'm going to go to the frame. I'm going to go, sorry, just to the frame. Edit mode. Select everything. Scale on the Y. We don't need this big right now. And I'm going to remove it on the Y. And now again we need to rotate along with the Z. And move on the X. And I think this looks okay. If any of you watching have any inputs, I would like to hear it. Let's, again, I'm not going to try to spell exhaust, so I'm just going to leave it as cylinder for now. Let's enable everything. Let's look at it, and I must say that I'm not hating it. I think it looks okay. There's I don't know if any of you are looking at it and want to learn how to create models, so I can tell you what I know I'm doing wrong. Maybe that at least has some value. So I have a lot of edges that are not visible to the player. So if we really want to optimize it for this model for game development, so that's a big no-no. I have this. You can see all this overlap. So when you have these types of overlays, thing overlapping like this, so it can create artifacts in the game itself. And when you create the texture later, I'm going to have a lot of space wasted because I have a lot of parts that are not even visible. So there's a lot of things that this model can be improved upon. But just judging by how it looks, and I think it's fine. So we're going to start working on texturing. So before I'll do that, I'll take everything here and I'm going to rotate on the Z 180 degrees because in the Godot game engine, if I wouldn't do it, I would have to do it every time I import this model. I'm going to look at it from the front, and I'm going to put the center of the propeller on the center of on the origin. So let's move on the Z, put the center on the center. Great. I'm going to look from the top, and I want the center of the canopy here. I want it to be at the origin. So let's move on the y-axis, maybe even further. I'm trying to imagine where the center of mass of the plane is going to be. So it's probably around this place, the thickest part of the wing. So I think that's a good guess. And now I'm going to do the following. I'm going to press spacebar, and I'm going to start writing apply transform. So you see here, apply object transform. I'm going to write it, and you can see that everything now is going to have 0 location, rotation, and scale. And this way, when I import it to Godot, they're all going to have the same center location. And when I rotate or do anything, it's going to rotate along that location. Okay, so this is all good and well. I'm going to now, I have a lot of modifiers on my object, so I'm going to now start texturing, so I need to get rid of this modifiers. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, duplicate this collection, and I'm going to name it P-51 copy. And now I can hide it and apply all the modifiers, and I know I can do it because if I made any mistake, I can simply use the copy to get everything I might lose. So let's go to this mirror modifier and apply it, and again apply. And that's it, we are ready to texture. So I'm going to do some texture painting. To do that, I'm going to select everything here. Okay, and I'm going to press spacebar, type join, and join, and now they are all a single object. Oh, sorry, let's undo that. I forgot to apply here and here. And now let's select everything again and Control J to join. And now we have the model the same as before, but when I UV unwrap it, it's going to use the same texture space. Okay, so let's select it. Let's press spacebar and type smart UV project. I'm going to press OK with the default setting. And now when I go to UV editing and select everything, you can see I have everything at least somewhat properly unwrapped. And now I'm going to go to texture painting, and you can see it's purple, meaning there's no texture. So I'm going to press this plus button. I'm going to say base color. I'm going to increase the texture size because I'm using 1 for this entire model. So I can allow myself to be slightly use a high-res texture. I don't need the alpha channel, so, and the base color is going to be, and let's now go to our references. I think I really like this when they have the gray metallic color. I think I'm going to go with this, and we're going to probably do some checkerboard because I see it's a repeating theme, and probably use this Air Force symbol. So we're going to use it as a stencil. There's also this green one, but I feel I already did enough green planes. I have the B-17 was green, and I think I have enough gray planes. Also, one thing I really like here is the marks of how much planes uh, the, the some plane um, shot down. So I don't think I like I'm not even going to say the name of this drawing, but I'm going to find some insignia to mark how many uh, planes we were able to take down with this plane. Okay, so let's do a gray one. So let's do it like this, maybe. Yeah, I think it's a good color. And just press OK. Now our plane is like this, and I think I might choose something too dark. So I'll take the paintbrush and paint everything slightly lighter. Yeah, I like it. And now go to material, and I don't like it. I know it's supposed to be metallic, but I don't like it that shiny, so I'm going to increase roughness to, let's say, 0.75, and specular I'm going to reduce to 0.25. It's going to be less shiny right now. And let's start. Okay, so what we're going to do here, first of all, part of the plane is going to have some solid colors, which is easy. So I'm going to go to press tab, select some of these parts, and when I press Ctrl L, I'm just going to get the canopy. And now what I can do is go back to texture paint. Okay, and I can press this button here, and this means I'm going to only paint on my canopy right now. And I can go to the tools. I can use some, bright blue, maybe not that bright, to represent the reflection of the skies from the canopy. And I'm going to press the canopy, and now we have a blue canopy. Okay, go back to object mode, and let's continue. Let's look at some reference images. So it seems like I think I like this plane a lot. I like the green, I like the yellow, I like how they play together, the front. I like this checkerboard symbol, and we can probably create something, some stencil like this in Affinity. I also like this, I must say, but I think the checkered board is way too pronounced here. I'm not going to use it. I think I'll try to make it look like this. Okay, so let's do it. First of all, I can do the following trick. I can go to face, select by pressing 3, select the center, and then press Control and plus sign on the numpad, and it's going to increase the selection. So let's do it a couple of times. Okay, so we have the entire propeller, and we want it to be white, so let's go to, oh, sorry, I deselected it. Let's go to texture paint, select this nice yellow, bright yellow color, and click. And we have the propeller. And now we want like the entire front, and then it goes only to the top part. So let's do it. Let's start selecting stuff. I'm going to edge select this, edge select, oh no, edge select this, and I'll probably circle select this. And I don't need to be that careful because I'm selecting, I might select things that are already colored yellow, but that's fine. Okay, so that's it. Now let's continue selecting this for sure. And I think also this one and this one. Yeah, I think that's going to be just fine. So back to texture paint and click it. That's it. Let's go to layout just for a second and enable looking at the shading. And yeah, that's the problem with low poly. You don't get a lot of polys to draw, and I could probably try and do it by hand, but I can't imagine it's ending up being looking better if I will try using my artistic skill. So let's continue with this solid color workflow. Let's go back to texture painting and let's select this one, this one, and this one. And yes, that's good enough. Let's go back to texture paint, select, so we want this military green. So let's go to green and reduce the strength. Yeah, that's good enough. And click it. Great. So what do we want to do now? Let's look at the reference image. Okay, so we probably need to do the exhaust pipes. It's red. I kind of like it. I can probably create a stencil with affinity, looking like this, and then okay. So let's do it. I'm feeling like doing some experiments. We have some blue under the canopy, which I will probably wouldn't be able to do. So that's a no for now. This E2D I like. We have the blue at the tail, so let's do that. I like this blue color. Okay, let's go to the tail, and we have some edge loops ready just for that. So let's select them and select them. We need this one also. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's see if we have some more blue. Yeah, the top part is also blue. Great. Do we have some more blue? Let's see. The tip of the wings appear to be blue, so let's do it. Circle select, W, circle select, all of these, and all of these. Great. Let's go to texture painting and select this nice blue, bright blue, and click it. And that's it. That looks very nice. I like it. Let's see if we can maybe do play a little bit with the blue on the canopy. I'm not sure. However, what I can do is blue here. Maybe not here. Yeah. So let's select. Now I can color it. Okay, I like it. It's nice. It adds some variation to the canopy. I think we're pretty much done with solid colors, and I'm going to switch to affinity, and I'm going to download some images of the US Air Force. So you know what, I might have one from yesterday. Let's look at my downloads. Okay, so yeah, we have US Air Force PNG. That's good enough stencil. So let's do it. Let's use it. We want one on each side. And let's look at some other reference images. And yeah, we want another one on the wing from the top. So let's do it. So the way you use stencils in Blender, if you ever wondered. So you go to texture paint, and you have down here, you select the brush, and you need to have a pure white brush, and you go to texture, and you click new, and then you need to go to this texture tab, and you press open. And I must say that it's not as straightforward as I would like it to be. So, but that's how it's done. I'm gonna search for our US Air Force PNG, and now when I go back to my brush, it is going to appear here, and I can select stencil. Now I have it here, so I want now to use it as a stencil. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go to side view. I'm going to press shift right click to make it smaller, and right click to put it where I want it to be. So I want it to be slightly behind the canopy. And let's look at the reference just to make sure. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place. And then all I need to do is color over it like this. Oh, sorry. I just remove the masking and now I can color over it. You can see it appeared over here. Now I can do Control 3, look from the exact other side, move it to the appropriate location and color over it. And that's it. We have, you see, the Air Force insignia, and I think I like it a lot. When I found out about this stencil method, I was like through the roof. It adds so much to the model, and you don't need to have any skills. So perfect method for a hopeless artist like me. So as I said before, looking at our references, we still need one on, let's say, the left wing. So let's look from the top, right click to move it. I think it should be smaller. Put it close to the edge and color over it. That's it. It's as easy as that. Very nice. Okay, so let's remove this stencil. We don't need it anymore. Now we need to color this two parts, the exhaust pipes, and we need to add. Let's look at the reference again. I like this arrow. It's very nice and it's red, and I like it the way it looks here. The red, military green, and yellow. I like this combination, so I'm going to create another stencil with Affinity Designer. So we need to create this, we need to color the exhaust pipes, and I also said that I'm going to add this markers for each plane dropped by this plane. So this, and I'll see it's starting to be pretty late here where I live. So if I'll have time when I finish, I'll try and add this letters because I like it. It looks very military, and also this the black and white pattern. So I think this calls for opening, let's say, a trailer board. So welcome to the behind the scenes to my current project. So if you're interested, I'm working on something called Space Gladiator, which is half tutorial series, half small game. I'm pretty like the concept of. It's like an aim training game where a lot of things, crazy things happen. When you miss, some turrets come up and shoot at you. So and barrels, exploding barrels, is getting thrown at you, which is showcasing a lot of Godot's strength in 3D. So this is why it's half tutorial series. And this is the Godot fight. This is the game I'm currently working on, and I'm going to add a small board. Let's call it small TDL. Wait, that's not how you do it. Create new board. Small to-do list. Let's make it like, yeah, that's a good color. Great. So we need, let's call this to-do list and done. So what do we want? So we said we need color exhaust, color pipes. I'm not going to even attempt spelling exhaust. Not for me. So pipes. We need to create a black-white pattern. We need to create the dropped stencil. Create enemy down stencil. And we need to create this nice stencil. Let's call it flag stencil. Create red flag stencil. But yeah, I know how to spell red. Don't do this to me. I think that's it, probably, right? So flag, black and white pattern, dropped signal, and let's just for good measure, create letters stencil. Okay, let's boot up Affinity. Okay, no, new version, fine, fine, fine. Pixels, 512 by 512. It's more than enough for our purposes. Project, document setup, colors, transparent background. So let's start with the easy parts. So we're just going to take this rectangle. Okay, and we are going to color it white. We're going to duplicate it. What? And we are going to move it. We are going to call it black. And we are going to take both of them and duplicate and move. And we are going to select everything and scale. Yeah, white, black, white, black, white. So I want another one. Great, so all this work for nothing. Let's do it again. Great, so now we're going to export it, and I'm going to use the short way. We can, if I was working on a, a long-term project, I might set up the entire. So I don't know if any of you know Affinity. So you have this export persona. I can make it so that every change gets exported to the entire file system that I created. But this is a very simple project, so I'm just going to use the short version, which is just exporting as PNG. And I'm going to call it stencil black white. Yep. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to group them together. No. Group them together and hide them. That's great. So now we finish with the black and come on, help me. Black and white pattern. Thank you. So what is enemy down stencil is something that we can work on. So it seems to me like the German Air Force insignia. So let's say World War II German Air Force icon. Let's see if this would give me anything. Yeah. So no, that's a big no-no. Let's immediately remove this. How can I do it? I need this cross. So let's say German Army World War II insignia. Let's see if we can find something. So we can do this cross. I can probably replicate it. I like it. I can do red background because I think the red really looks good on this model. So let's do red model with this plus. So it's red, white. So now let's look a bit closer. So it's red, black, white, black. Let's do it. Okay, so let's do rectangle. And it's going to be red. Like, yeah, dark red, or yeah, I like it. Let's fit to this canvas. Great, now we want a plus sign, so let's create one. So I need a square, I can do it like this. It's going to be black. Black. Oh, it's the stroke. No, we want the fill. Black. Great. And we want to maybe make it like this, yeah. And we want to fit, and we can duplicate and rotate 90 degrees. And now let's center everything. So this is centered, and this is centered, and we have a cross, and we can add them together. Now we have this cross, and we can duplicate it, and we can scale it down. But do we want to scale it? No, I think we want to maybe. Let's look at the image. So we want it to be smaller. So I think I made a mistake. So let's do it. Let's fix it. Yeah, let's do it. So now let's copy and paste those two, and instead of making them the same curve, let's just group them. And now I'll take the top ones, and I'm going to take this one. I'm going to move it. Is there a way to move on? Yeah, like this. So this is 326. So let's do 326 minus 6. 140 minus 6. 146. 140 plus 6. What? Oh, I got it now. Okay, so 512. No. 136. Okay, so 326 plus, let's say, 12. And this 140 minus 24. Bam, I did it. I'm a genius. Thank you. And I want this again. So we want to 140 minus 24. And we're going to take this and do 186 plus 12. Now we got it centered. Take this one and this one. I'm going to change the, no, take this one, change the color to white. Take this one, change the color to white. And oh my god, that was so much more complicated than I expected it to be. It's incredible. And I don't want any stroke. Yes. So this looks nice, but I need the center one. Let's hope this one is going to take me less than 20 minutes to do this, probably the most basic, simple thing possible. And I'm pretty sure that if any of you guys have any knowledge of Affinity, you probably have like an so much easier way to do it. So what can you do? Okay, so now let's do it again. Let's see if I learned anything. So let's 116 minus 24, and we'll take this 314 plus 12. Great. And color black. And no stroke. Great. And do the same here. 116 minus 24. 198 plus 12. Yes, I'm learning, I'm evolving. Do we like it? I think I like it, actually. I think I'm missing a black edge around, maybe like a frame. Yeah, let's try and make a frame. So it's going to be above like this, and we're going to put it below everything. Yes, and we are going to I think black is the correct thing to do, but maybe it should be over. Yes, and wait, how the hell am I going to do it? I can probably mask something. Put another. Let's try. Let's try. Let's put another rectangle here, and now let's scale it like this. And now let's see if I can mask it somehow. Okay, that's interesting. No, no. What are you doing? No, stop it. So is it you? If I draw here, what's happening? No, nothing. Okay, I don't want to bore you guys. Okay, who are sticking with me, so I'm just going to do it the quick and dirty way. So I'll take this rectangle. And I think it looks nice, maybe thinner. Yes, and duplicate, move it here, duplicate, rotate 90 degrees and move it here, and duplicate and move here. Okay, sorry I bore you guys to death. That was horrible. I'm probably affinity designer stupid. So let's do it like this. Export it, and it's going to be enemy down stencil. Great. So another one that we can mark off, enemy down stencil. So red flag stencil. Okay, that's an interesting one, because this one is going to take my um, artistic skills. Thank you. I feel like I know basically nothing about this software, and if you have any tips, yeah, I'll like to hear it. Okay, so let's see. I'm pretty sure they have Affinity have this all these basic shapes, so I could probably find something to use. Yeah. So a lot of this I can probably make with some trapezoids and some squares. So first of all, let's take everything here. Let's group it and hide it. Okay. Now, okay, let's do it. I'm just gonna wing it. So let's create a circle. Red one, but something dramatic. Yeah, that's a dramatic red. And put it in the center, close to the edge. Now let's take a rectangle and yeah, exactly. Thank you, Affinity. Thank you. Oh, that's so helpful. And just remove these and take it to the center of the circle. Move it here, and let's look at it from far away just for a second. Should maybe wider. Maybe wider. Let's try. Do I like it better? I think so. Okay, I think now I can do like two triangles, a rectangle and a rectangle. Let's try. Let's start with a rectangle. Yeah, like this. This is good. And do I have some custom shape for the edge? Would an arrow do it? That's interesting. Let's try something different. Let's take this arrow. Okay, if I do this. Okay, I like it. I like it. And I can take this part. I can do it like this. Triangular tail. And if I do this. No. Square tail. Is this what I want? No. Triangle tail. Is this what I want? No. So no tail. But we learned something. Okay, which is always a good thing. Okay, so let's do it again. Right here. Great. Fillet. On this edge, none. And take it here to the center. And now if I merge them, probably I'm going to get the effect I want. Yeah, probably with some circle, with some rectangle here. So let's do it like this and like this. Is this what I want? Yes. I'm so proud of myself, I can cry right now. Great. So we need this to be shorter, and now we need to create. Use the Boolean operations. Oh my god, that's yeah. Okay, let's see if I can figure the Boolean operations right now. Okay, so I need probably a trapezoid. Let's try trapezoid like this one. And do it like this. Rotate 90. Let's put it in a different color so I can look at it better. Let's put it here. Same width. Can I control how wide this is? Probably, yeah. And how does it look? So we need a sharp edge. So let's put this here. Okay, so this gives us this sharp edge, and now I can move it to the back, and I can do this. So this looks nice. Oh, that even looks like a shadow, I must say. That's nice. Okay, so now I need to take this and do like a minus sign maybe? Divide? No, this and this. Subtract. Yes! Oh my god, I'm so happy. Thank you. That's you saved me so much work probably. Thank you very much. Okay, so it looks like I want. Let's center everything. Great. And now let's see if we can add some text. So seems like it says Detroit in some old-timey font. Let's see if we can find something appropriate. So I want it to be white, and we want. Let's see if we can find something that looks nice. Oh, that has some. Okay, Broadway maybe. Okay, I like this brush. Let's try the Broadway one. Let's see if it works. Detroit. I must say I kind of like it. I think it's nice. Okay, let's not settle for the first one I find. Ooh, this also looks nice. No, 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 no. Okay. Broadway, still number one. No. Okay, I'll stay with Broadway for this part. I like it. I think it's nice. It's like have this World War II dramatic type of feel to it, and I want this miss, and we want the M to be so big that it goes outside of the. That's actually. I don't know if I want to do it right now because if I could save myself 20 minutes, it is so late right now. I should probably go to sleep because I'm working tomorrow. But so I'm not going to Google it, but I have a feeling you're probably right, and I could save myself so much time. Okay, so now let's do the miss part. So it starts before, so we need to take the Detroit part, make it smaller. Now add the second part. So something like this. And we want the brush, I think, looked good for this. Oh, no, no, no. How about you? No? No? Hmm. How about playing with this type of font? Miss. I think it might work. So now I'm going to try and add some line width, but I want it to have a certain color. I want to have the same color as the sticker in the back. So let's see if I can make it happen. I don't know that I like this font. I don't think that I like it actually. No, this is not a good choice. Oh, now we're talking. Why are you black though? Is it because of the outline? Let's see. Yes, it is. So let's make it, we can do it bold, but we can probably increase the size. No, it's too thin. Ah, I like the font. What about this? If I do the line right now, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Can I do it bold? No, I can't. But I think I'm going to, nobody's actually going to look at it besides me, so I think I'm putting too much effort into it. So I think I'm going to call it, this looks good enough for me. So let's group it and export it. And we call it flag stencil. Flag stencil. Great. And now let's go back to Blender. I think this is everything, right? Probably, yes. So we have all the stencils. The letters were optionals. We'll see if we need them when we finish. Let's go back to Blender. We have the plane right here. So let's start putting our stencils. So I want them on the other side. Yeah, great. So I'm going to go to our brush, and we're going to go to our, go to our brush, create a new one, go to our texture, open, go to downloads, And let's look for our stencils. So flag stencil, that's the one. Now let's go back to our tool, and yeah, it's ready. Shift, right click, make it bigger, move it to the appropriate location, and now we can color over it. And we have the Detroit Miss on our plane. Beautiful. So proud of myself. Nobody but me is going to look at it, but it's very nice. Okay, next one. Let's go to our texture, remove this, open the new one. Now I want the black and white stencil. Great. So this, again, we're going to move to the side. I'm going to take our stencil here, put it like this. Yes. And again, we are going to color over it. Excellent. Other side. Move it here. Maybe scale it down a little bit. Yes. No. Bigger. Oh, no. Bigger. Yes. Okay, let's do it. Nice. That's cool. Maybe I can probably fit this like this, and we need to rotate. Yes, scale it. Okay, let's try doing them one by one. That's great. Maybe not great, but good enough. Okay. Yeah, I always forget that when I try to do mirrored things, I keep them, but sometimes um, I need to figure out a better workflow, because I do like that I can simply draw, like, you know, the Detroit Miss on one side without having it on the other. So I need to think of a better way of doing it. It will probably solve me a lot of problems. Okay, so now I have another one. Oh yeah, I wanted to create this fallen enemies on the side of the plane. Great. So now let's scale it and move it. Let's start painting some of those. Wow, that's horrible. Is it because this part of the plane is UV projected poorly? Let's try and solve this. But if this is the reason, I can probably I wouldn't have a proper solution anyway. So let's switch and let's look at this part of the plane. And no, I must say it's pretty big. I'm expecting it to be good enough. Interesting. Let's move it down. Does it look better? Somewhat. So how many planes do we feel we dropped? I think 4. You know, we're not an ace pilot by any means, but we are, you know, we have some experience. We dropped 4 planes. And I feel like this is going to be enough for now. So let's remove the texture from our brush and look at everything from the side. And I think I feel pretty good with it. I don't like that the front is so yellow. I want to have some variation. Let's look at the reference image to see if there's anything here. And yes, it seems like there's black green line, but I think I'm not going to obsess too much over it. Let's just finish the exhaust pipes and call it a day. So the way I'm going to do it is go to edit mode, select one of each of those and one of each of those, press Ctrl L to get everything linked to it, and when I go back to texture paint, I'm going to mark it as only paint over the masked faces. And I think they did it in yellow, but I already feel like there's too much yellow. So if I'm going to do it yellow, I'm going to do it darker, like this maybe, and closer to green. Not that close. Yeah, and I'm going to maybe take the paintbrush because oh, that's blue. Oh my god. No, I want this type of green. That's it. That's good enough. Oh, thank you for the compliment. I'm starting to get the feeling that I took a little bit of, you know, it has some big scope, at least what I'm imagining. So I'll need to be very vigilant with keeping the scope to something reasonable, at least for one person working less than half time. But yeah, I like it also. It's really fun to play. Okay, so let's finish up this model. Link and also you and everything you're linked to. And I think not yellow, maybe this red again. Let's play with the red. I like it. That's an okay plane. Okay, so now we are reaching the part when I need to put it in my Godot project. So if any of you here, there's literally just the two of you. If one of you, if you are not interested in using Godot, you can switch off right now because I'm going to switch to Godot, and then I'll probably record the small video and just to showcase this plane. Okay, so let's open up Godot. So let's do Godot fight, and what we want is we want a new instance of our throttle plane. So new inherited scene. Oh, is it the throttle plane? I'm not sure actually. Let's look at the last one I did, which is I think the B-17. Is it the force plane? Yeah. So let's look at the B-17, and the B-17 is the force plane controller. So we want to inherited scene of the force plane controller. Let's go to 3D, go to our visualizer, and we're going to add everything to here. So let's go to our layout, select everything, export as GLTF. I'm going to include only the selected object and custom properties, and it's going to be P-51. Let's go to P-17, create a new model for the P-51, and export. That's it. Back in Godot, P-51, add it to a project, and oh right, I probably didn't save the image, so yeah, let's save it now. Great. And now, again, select everything, export GLTF, P-51, include everything, and export. And now I probably be wise to close Godot. Let's remove this, save it under planes, force planes, and I'm going to call it P-51. Save it. Now I'm going to close Godot. What's in assets, models, P-51. Let's delete the old one. So we have the new one over here, but I don't want to have the old one. P-51 GLB, and also the import. I don't want you anymore. Now let's open again. Amazing. So now let's open our P-51 scene. Great. Visualizer, add P-51, and it's the new one. That's great. And now we have it textured. Everything looks fine. I would probably want to add some trail renderers to the wings so we have the nice flying effect. So let's do it right now. Spatial node. We'll call it trails. I'm gonna add my custom trail renderer. Put it at the edge of the wing. Let's go to 8. Make it much narrower. Width curve. I want it to keep the same width. And we want it to be not too long. And I have a custom material. And I think it's in assets, trails. Yes, trail material. And now we are going to duplicate. We are going to move it to the exact opposite side of the plane. So now we have two trail renders. I think I have a gun, yes, to these types of planes, and it does fire everything. Yeah, is it the proper, yeah, machine gun loop? That's the correct sound. And the engine sound is Cessna, yes. So I think it's probably already ready. So let's save it. Let's create. This is not the bomber, so I can use the beautiful scene. So let's do that. So let's go to debug. And so now test Cessna doesn't have any enemies. So we want the test that I did to the 0. Yes, so let's duplicate it. And we create a test for the P-51. Open it. So we have this very nice riverbank scene, and we just need to remove the 0. Force place control, yes, let's remove it. And add instead the P-51. Great. And now we need to add, just a second, so we need to find our plane controller, mice flight controller, and we need to assign the plane to it. And that's it. Let's move it to an appropriate location. Say 50, 150 is my go-to, maybe slightly higher because we have this ground. And let's run. Fix this. Let's try it again. Yeah, maybe I should have I should have thought of it myself when I needed to lower my headphone sound. So let's see. Let me know right now. Is this better? Yeah. So as I currently you can see the propeller, and I hate it. It looks very bad. So I'll probably write some custom shader to um, add some motion blur to whatever object is inside a certain area, and then I'm going to add the propeller again. I'm going to rotate it in some slow speed, and with a motion blur it's going to look better, but that's something for the future. Okay, let's test the throttle, and we are flying slower. Let's see that we're increasing in speed. Let me drop. So yeah, the gravity is still not 100% the way I want it to be. Oh, firing, so let's throttle up, escape here. Yeah, so that's it. Another day, another plane. I'm halfway there to finish this challenge, which I immediately 2 days later regret taking, but I'm feeling pretty committed, so I must finish. So that's it. We're finished with creating the plane and adding it to the game. So I think I'm going to finish this. I get 60. It's capping at 60. I can probably remove the cap and test it if you want, but not now. So What I'm going to do is probably switch this stream off, and I'm going to record the usual video showcasing the plane. So everybody that watched, thank you very much. Thank you for the company. It's usually I'm having less fun without people talking to me. So thank you very much for the company again, and see you soon. Probably I'll try doing it tomorrow, but I can't be sure. So goodbye.